live from the Heartland. We are experiencing partly cloudy skies, and that's appropriate. It's September 7th, and the world holds its breath. We have a full show today, but I thought, given this particular moment in history requires that we take it seriously and that we attend to it. So I asked Bob Koehler, who is a great writer and also a neighbor, to read us his week commentary, this week's commentary, and it's something that I read this week called "Stopping a War Before It Starts." Robert Koehler, welcome back to Live from the Heartland.
Thanks, Katie. It's great to be here.
So I just read your thing and immediately contacted you and said, this sounds like the kind of thing that we should do as an invocation. Not that we always have invocations for our radio show, but this time we do. And so have at it.
All right. Yeah, this is called Stopping a War Before It Starts. Who's up for stopping a war? This is the time, as the next war strains to be born, amid the same old lies as last time, amid the same urgency and pseudo-debate and pretensions of seriousness. The government of Syria, we're told, has crossed a red line. It has used poison gas, killing hundreds of innocent people and committing a heinous war crime, and suddenly, clear as a bell, we have good versus evil. Our only course of action, President Obama and his spokespersons tell us, is to carry out a punitive strike against the Syrian government. This is the abstraction of war speak, which summons a deeply satisfying mythology of righteous vengeance while making the action sound so clear and logical. President Bashar al-Assad committed a, quote, moral obscenity. It is up to us to punish him by firing off some Tomahawk missiles. There's no messiness in this action, no possibility of disastrous consequences, no hint that our intelligence might be compromised, no wink at our hypocrisy or past failures, and certainly no dead civilians. No random innocents lying just as still in the wake of our rain of 1,000-pound warheads as those Assad may have killed in his alleged act of moral obscenity. War, of course, always starts out like this, as bright and hopeful as the sunrise. It's almost beyond belief to me that we can have such a clean, bloodless national conversation about a new war in the Middle East while the old wars continue to fester and our moral wounds still haunt us. The image of George Bush on the aircraft carrier in his padded flight suit proclaiming mission accomplished is one of the 21st century's most bitterly ironic icons. And yet, we're about to bomb Syria. Engage, if Obama gets his way, in some intervention light, as Simon Jenkins of the UK Guardian put it. This will almost certainly trigger not good behavior, but furious retaliation, alienating not just Syria, but its allies, including Iran and Russia. How will the U.S. respond when one of our enemies strikes back at us? There's no telling how far it could go. Courting even a remote threat of possible nuclear confrontation with Russia just to overthrow President Assad, a former U.S. ally, is the height of irresponsibility, Eric Margolis writes on Common Dreams. Almost as blatantly MIA in the media and political discussion about attacking Syria over possible poison gas usage is any acknowledgement of the hypocrisy of our moral outrage. Think Agent Orange and napalm, white phosphorus and depleted uranium. among many other toxic substances we have thoughtlessly unleashed on the enemy and on innocent civilians and our own troops in the wars of the last 2 generations. How many red lines have we crossed? How many lies have we told maintaining the harmlessness of these poisons? How many unborn babies have we poisoned over the years? How many square miles of planet Earth are uninhabitable because of our righteous battles for the good of humankind? Will the missiles we use on Syria be made of depleted uranium, leaving radioactive fallout in their wake? As always, the war's stated purpose, a punitive strike against the Syrian government, is just a cover story. The U.S. and its possible allies, France and Great Britain, all have an interest in regaining influence in Syria, which requires Assad's collapse. But beyond the geopolitics, there are deeper and darker hidden motives for launching a bright new war. We, or at least our government and the economic interests it serves, are addicted to war. This addiction is the Washington consensus. Almost every politician who rises to prominence has to embrace this consensus. Howard Friel, writing last week in the New York Times Examiner, quoted from a speech Norman Mailer delivered at UC Berkeley in 1965 in an early rally against the Vietnam War. War is the health of a totalitarian state, Mailer said, and peace is its disease. The pursuit of war and global domination has altered this country down to its very roots, Friel writes. Democracy is, of course, antithetical to this obsession. He adds, quote, this wealth-robbing, rights-robbing, multifarious machine which appears to wag the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and the press, the entire constitutional scheme, makes serial war one sort or another around the world. That, in turn, fuels the hatred that engenders the terrorism that creates the security obsession that sells more war. As Mailer warned, it is the positive feedback loop of a totalitarian state. What needs to be said in conjunction with this grim analysis is that the infrastructure of democracy is still in place in this country, along with a prevailing belief in it. While the Washington consensus has an interest only in circumventing the democratic process and perpetuating endless war, it still needs the will of the people on its side, or at least their acquiescence. Things could be worse. As Norman Solomon wrote recently, quote, grassroots pressure has forced President Obama to seek approval from Congress for an attack on Syria. When Congress reconvenes on September 9th, it will take up the matter. I urge everyone opposed to an attack on Syria and a continuation down the road toward totalitarianism to contact their reps and then, of course, vocalize their opinion every other way they can. Solomon writes, but we have a real chance to prevent a U.S. attack. I urge especially those of you who don't regularly communicate with your legislators to make your opinions known. Now is the time. The public is not behind a war with Syria. Whether democracy is dead in the U.S. or not is totally up to us. Thank you.
That's Robert Koehler, friends and neighbors. Robert writes for the Tribune and also Common Dreams.
Common Dreams, yeah, the website is commonwonders.com.
Commonwonders.com, and your piece is on there right now?
Yes, correct.
So if, like me, you were touched by Robert's writing, go to commondreams.com.
Or Common Wonders.
I'm sorry, commonwonders.com.
Yeah, it is also on Common Dreams, too. But
see, you confuse me.
I know.
One thing that you alluded to was that public pressure is what was behind Obama asking Congress, and I'm wondering, like a lot of people, if, in fact, what was behind him approaching Congress is not part of the reason a lot of us voted for him, which was an understanding that something has to change.
Yeah, I believe that's true. That at least there is some truth in that. I think he's torn between what he promised in the election and what he believes in some deep place, and the reality of being a president in the current United States of America, and all of the pressure of the military-industrial complex, the Washington Consensus. I mean, he's caught between the two, and I think we have a chance to push him the way we want him to go.
I've actually never, ever felt so strongly that we have a chance.
Right, I agree. I feel the same way.
And so to that end, there is, for example, today in the Federal Plaza at noon, an anti-war march, gathering, rally. Possibly more to most of our listening's likings and comfort. Monday night is a national and maybe international night of candlelight vigils in every neighborhood. We'll have one that kicks off right here in front of the Heartland Monday night, and we may even have our own little neighborhood peace march.
What time is the Monday event?
The Monday night event is 7 p.m. I don't know, when I created our event, there were only a couple others in Chicago, but I think they're mounting.
I hope so.
And, you know, one of the things that we're going to say is don't bomb the neighborhood. Because one of the things that we did back in the Vietnam era was to put ourselves in the place, to attempt to put ourselves in the place of the folks who are sitting there, you know, relying on the American people,
right,
among other things, to not get their neighborhoods bombed.
Right,
in Damascus and all over Syria.
Yeah.
We need to be effective this time. We have the possibility. We'll later talk to some other folks who worked very hard to elect Obama, but also who are continuing to work hard organizing. I think we have a chance. I think we have a chance to stop this. And ironically, it's because of all those you-know-whats in Congress who will never vote for anything Obama asks them for.
Right. Yeah, I know. There is a deep...
I love the ironic...
A deep irony. A deep irony.
Woo! Go, you... You know, I can't say that on the radio, what I'd like to say. But I think possibly President Obama was relying on that.